Hello everybody, welcome back. Simslife here, back with another video. And today's video is going to be a second part to how to import your sim from SimRipper into Blender. I'm doing a second part because I am aware that some people were having issues rendering CC and stuff. And that's probably the Alpha CC. If you do want to know more about how to download it and about saving your sim, then I will link it, but I do recommend watching at least the first couple minutes of the first video. And the first video does still apply to Maxis Match CC users. But with that said, let's go ahead and get into it. So when you first open up SimRipper, this is the default. You have the single mesh and texture, and it's going to be Blender bone size is going to be 2. Now I do want to mention this too. I mean, if you're using this to do a render of your sim, you're going to render a pose or something, I would recommend using probably Blender 8.3. I think that's the one. It's been a long time since I've done a render. I only use this for posing. I just like using my sim so that, body shapes are different, different sizes and everything else. And and since it's always on my sims, I know what it looks like before I get it into game. That way I don't have to bring the pose back and keep readjusting. But for renders, I would definitely probably use Blender, like I think 8.3. I will be doing a render coming up here in the future, so if anybody wants me to record it, let me know in the comments. If enough people want it, I will record it when I do it. Okay, so back to this. So here where it says single mesh and texture, you're going to want to bring this down to solid and glass meshes and textures. That's for glasses, and like some alpha hair and clothing and stuff, they use glass textures for, and that's probably why it's not loading right for you. There are some extra steps to this, and I was trying to keep everything beginner friendly, so this is part 2 for alpha. I'm mostly Maxis Match. I do use some alpha. Now Blender bone size, you can leave at 2, or I put mine at 9, only because I did hear somebody doing that, so I don't know if that makes a huge difference. So if you want, you can put yours to 9 too. It's not going to hurt anything. Standard and high quality, HQ. I'm leaving it standard. Not everything is HQ compatible, so all I changed was the glass, was to get the glass mesh and texture and the bone size. Okay, so now I'm going to go to select, because I'm going to go get my sim. And everything is everybody's here listed in alphabetical order by last name, so I'm going to go ahead and find my sim. Now I just want to give it a few minutes. It could take a moment or two. It is working. Even if it says it's not responding, still give it more time. Okay, so here he is. I do want to change his outfit. I want to use his formal. You can only export a sim in one outfit. However, if there's other clothing that you might want to use, like you want to do a pose with like a specific shirt or a specific pair of pants, or maybe you want to put a hat on them, you can import those separately, which will be for another video. If you want that too, let me know down below and I will do that. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and right here where it says save as, DAE, I already have a folder made, so I'm going to go ahead and save it in a specific folder. Okay, so now we don't need this anymore, so I'm just going to go ahead and close this out. Alright, so now I have just a male blend rig. Okay, so now there are 2 ways to do this. I'm going to show you both. One kind of looks better than the other. So we are, by default, Blender render. So we're going to start here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this drop down. I'm going to delete everything here except for the pose and the armature data. So I'm just going to right click here and delete. The teeth, delete. And I'm just right clicking on it and hitting delete. Okay, so you may or may not have these broken dotted lines. You will definitely have all these black dots. Okay, so then I'm going to come up to File, and I'm going to go ahead and import Collada, the DAE. I'm going to go to the folder I saved them in, and there's the DAE file. I'm going to import. Okay, so now here he is. And I'm going to, this long line thing here. I'm going to scroll out so you can see it. It's this light right here. When you click on it, you'll see the lamp 005. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that because that's in my way. Okay, so I just went ahead and minimized that. So the only reason why I put the shirt on him was because it was transparent. I didn't think it was going to load as well as it did. I don't have a lot of alpha, but I do have glasses on him for the glass texture. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and delete rig 001, the very bottom one. Don't delete the top one, just delete the bottom one. So I'm going to right click on it and hit delete. Now we have two of my sim files here. We have West just alone, and then we have West with the glasses. Okay, so I'm going to click on the first one, and I'm going to go to the material tab, which is right here. Now, if your sim came in with no texture, you can skip this part. Mine came in with material, but however, I'm going to delete it, make a new one. Right there. Okay, so it's deleted. Now I'm going to hit new, and I'm going to rename this material. I'm just naming it after my sim. When I click off it, this one will change with it. And I'm going to go ahead and scroll down, and I'm looking for transparency. I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to take alpha and drag it all the way to 0. And now I'm going to click on the glass texture, West with the glass texture. And you might have to scroll up, but right here where it says material, I'm going to click on this little icon right here. I'm going to choose West. Then I'm going to come over here, and this is the texture tab. It's right next to the material. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to make a new one. I'm just going to get rid of that preview. I just minimized it. And then I'm going to come on down here, and I'm going to check off alpha. It should be 1 by default, but if it's not, make it 1. And then right up here where it says image, I'm going to hit open. And I'm going to come back and get the diffuse thing here. It's right at the top, hit open. And there he is. It doesn't look great in the Blender one, even if when we hit rendered, it's getting my computer going, but it doesn't render as well. So I'm going to go back to material. We're going to do this another way. This is the second way. And this way might look a lot better because I know his glasses look a lot better. And you can do poses in it too. So we're going to change Blender render to cycles. And his texture did disappear, but it's okay. We're going to get it back. So we're going to go to material. And we're going to go down here to use nodes. Now this one might get a little confusing, but it's not too bad. It's pretty easy, especially if you've done it enough times. So what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to drag let's make a, right over here, right in the corner, you can see these. I'm just going to drag up. So I can get another area here. I'm going to pull this down because I don't need this area. More room to work with. I'm going to pull this down just a little bit. Okay. So now we're going to come right down here to this little box. And we're going to choose node editor. Now you're going to see this here. And then you can come right over here to where it says color. Hit this. Go to image texture. And now right here, you can browse the images. You can go right down here and choose the diffuse. So now we got his texture in here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go down to where it says West Glass. Hold Shift, and while holding Shift, click on this plus right here to copy it. And now where it says West.001, I'm going to rename that to West Glass, so we know this is the glass texture. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to come down here to add. I'm going to add a shader. We're going to add the transparent. I'm going to put it right up here. Don't connect it to anything just yet. I'm going to go back down here and add, go to textures again. Or, I mean, sorry, go to shaders again. And we're going to add mixed shader. And we're just going to put that right in between the diffuse and the material. When this line turns orange, just click, and it just attaches itself. Okay, so now we're just going to pull this down a little bit. Okay, and now the alpha, we're going to left click and just drag it to the FAC. I don't know what that stands for, but that's just what you do. Okay, and then we're going to take the transparent right here, and we're going to take that and connect it to the very top shader. When you do that, the other one will drop down. So we're going to put it to the same one that this one's connected to. There we go, and drop down. Okay, so now when we go to render, his glasses are rendered. Okay, but he is not attached to anything yet. So once you're done with all that, what you're going to want to do next is, we have to do this to both of them, so we're going to start with the west one with glass. We're going to click on the wrench, come down to object, and hit rig. That's attaching him to the rig. Then we're going to go to the top one. We're going to do the same thing. Come down to object, hit rig. Now he's attached to the rig. So what you're going to want to do is, we're going to left click and drag West by himself down to the rig, set parent to object. And then we're going to do the same thing with the glass one. Drag it down to the rig and set parent to object. Okay, so now we don't need this anymore. So when you click on him, now he's ready to pose, and if we hit render, the glass texture is rendering. So I'm just going to go ahead back to material. You could set this to just material by itself. Not sure, I don't remember which one it was on. But if you just click here and set it to material, your sim is going to look the way. You see how his glasses now are rendering the glass texture. So hopefully that should solve most of your problems. If it's not rendering still, then it might not be rendering in Blender. Some stuff just doesn't render well. That's how it goes. So hopefully this helps somebody. If it did, don't go ahead and leave it a like, and definitely subscribe for more content. If you do want me to record the render that I do, if enough people want it, let me know, and I will do that. Anyways, guys, I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.